Hello, it's Monday, so welcome to another episode of Miller's Musings. I have no idea what number this is now. 8, 9, and we were smashing through all these now. Just realised my lighting's all off, so I'm going to look a bit weird, maybe a bit like an albino, but it's all good. Once again, thank you everyone for your lovely words about this series. It's always very kind for people to... It's kind of a mix of things, really. Some people come up and say that it's helping them just to hear things that they've related to in their own life. And also other people that say, Simon, it's really good of you to just talk, shoot from the hip so much. And that's my pleasure. Now, this week, I didn't really know what to talk about. There's a lot going on sort of in the world in general. So I was like, should I start talking about that stuff? Should I sort of move away into more topical stuff? And maybe we'll do that eventually. Like, I thought I may talk about gun control. Then I was like, well, all I've got to really say about gun control is we should probably control guns better. But I think maybe we'll get to that at some point. But then something else came up. I won't say why or how. And it kind of got me thinking, and I don't know whether other people put their, sort of have these pressures from society anyway. So I thought I'll talk about that. And it's basically about, age in relation to what you're meant to have in your life or what you're meant to be doing or, all manner of things. Like I know loads of people that sort of get to the 30-year-old bracket. And then maybe they're not in a relationship, or maybe they don't have kids, or maybe they don't have the job they want, maybe they're not financially secure. And what they start doing is they start saying, well, I must be failing, or I must be behind the curve because I'm not, I haven't ticked these boxes that seemingly I should have ticked by now. And that creates a very negative effect, and that can then cause stress, anxiety, and mental problems that we've talked about before. And I come at this from a very... I don't know if it's unique, but maybe a very different perspective to most people. I think, anyway, given that, friends and family and stuff that I chat to. And that's because I don't believe there is any right or wrong or any certain rule that anybody should be applying to themselves when it comes to stuff they either have or don't have. And I understand that it can be hard. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you get, to your mid to late 30s and maybe you want a family... and you haven't got that yet, maybe you're starting to think, well, how am I going to do this? Where's it going to come? Now, I understand there's time restrictions and biological restrictions, obviously, but taking that, outside of that at the moment, I don't think, again, it's kind of the phrase that we use a lot. I don't think there's any right or wrong in terms of what you should or shouldn't have depending on your age. And I think, like I said, a lot of people, especially, I think work and career is a big one. Because to me, I tell you, as a man who recently celebrated a birthday and is now well into their 30s, I would say it wasn't really until maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, so I was already well past 30, that I actually started to realise what I was good at, what I could make a career out of, where I could potentially make money from. And there are some people in their mid-20s worrying about that now. And I probably worried about that too. So it's difficult for me to say that it's a completely bad thing because maybe I use that to motivate myself to get to where I wanted to go. However, I guess my point here is I think a lot of people worry about where they should be rather than where they are, right? That's the thing. The classic thing about it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right? And I genuinely think when it comes to life, when it comes to life, that is the ultimate thing because... the destination of life is you can die. I don't want to get too negative on these things, but that's the truth. If we're talking about enjoying the journey, not the destination is not, I want to be a CEO of my own company or whatever. That's not the destination. That is a stop-off on your journey. The journey of life starts with you being born and ends with you going to die. I didn't plan to talk about this. Well, negative. Well, it's not negative either. It's true. And you can use it as a motivator. A lot of people do. A lot of people say that, high-flying... successful businessmen are maybe so aware of their own mortality they just throw themselves into things. But the point being is, I don't think enough people enjoy the journey. That's kind of what I want to get at here, because you're always going to have. I know we touch along a lot of the same themes when we do these, but I think that's just the nature of the beast. But you are, no matter what you want. You're always going to want something else. No matter what you're worrying about, eventually you're always going to be worried about something else because that's what human beings do. We're animals, right? And we're instinctual and habitual and all these things. And if anything like that gets knocked off course, all of a sudden it's like warning signals. And you can easily kind of fall into a bad pattern or a bad routine or a bad place if you then start piling everything else up on top. Now, obviously, ultimately, we all want to have good relationships, good jobs, good financial situation, good families, good friends, all of that stuff. But it's just not realistic. So if you're then sort of worrying about, I should be here by now, I should have done this by now, I should have a family by now, I should have a relationship by now, that is just going to, make you feel worse. And it's just going to, make all the other issues you're trying to deal with even more of a struggle. When really, what we should do is we should look at the situation in front of us and say, right, here's X, Y, and Z. Here's what I need to fix. Here's what I need to solve. Here's what's good. So we need to bring that stuff in as well. What do I have to do to get to the next stop, as we mentioned, the next part? How do we get those wheels? How do we get those wheels turning? And I'm not going to give you my age. I'm being a hypocrite here. It's not hard to find. You can go out and find it. But yeah, I think one of the things that sometimes I do, again, I like to be a bit personal without being too personal. One of the things that maybe I get a bit, I wouldn't say that to a certain extent. I mean, so a lot of my friends and family, if not all my friends, a lot of my friends, if not all of them, are now settled down with kids, right? At the moment, I'm not. So, you could get to the point where maybe that gets you down or you start overthinking it, but it's not that. It's not that at all. That's not the problem. Problem's the wrong word, but that's not the issue. You need to kind of look at it in a different way. And again, I can only talk from my perspective here. But actually, if I look at it from my own point of view, rather than getting sort of stressed out about it or whatever, really what I'm looking for is a companion to share the stuff that I've already got with, and whatever else comes along with that comes along with it. And I think when you come at it that way, then it's different. Because then you know what you want, right? So it's not looking at it going, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. It's shifting gears and going, okay, I've now got to, and again, I'd watched the last episode that ties into this, but yeah, I've now got to the point in my life where I know that's what I want. Okay, great. I mean, now go figure the rest of that. And there's sadness and happiness and all that tied in, of course. However, the point is, I don't think you should be comparing yourself to anybody else. And just because they have what you don't have, or maybe that you want, that either means they're more successful than you or you're a bigger failure than they are. Because really, here we go, get existential now. Success and failure does not exist. It just does not exist, because if I told you I've made £2 million in the last year, I haven't, by the way, but if I told you that to someone, Barry, who's over here, Barry may be like, that is amazing, how did you do that? But Steve may not care about how much money I've earned. If I go and tweet that, I'd imagine, how people respond to that is going to be utterly different, because it all depends on what your goals, your morals, and your ideas are. I've got a friend, and I won't name him because I think it's fair. All he ever wanted in his life was to have a wife and kids. That was it. Didn't really care about work. He cared about work and finances, but that was his main thing. He went out and he got it, and as far as I know, he's the happiest guy ever. Like, he doesn't ever have any problems, because again, he had his own definition of what success and failure was. And he went out and he made sure that he accomplished that. And I think that's really important. I think it's really important to keep that in mind. And it's not like if you have a goal, for example, if you want to train to be a swimmer in the Olympics, then sure, if you don't make it, you can say to yourself, I have failed. And we're touching on a really early one here, but you didn't fail because you tried to do it. And ultimately, becoming a successful swimmer at the Olympics doesn't define you as a human being. It's just something you set your mind on, and you went after it. And I think it's those definitions that really bring some people down, because, yeah, you can get to a certain age. And it doesn't have to be in your 30s, it can be in your 20s. Some people in their teens start to do it, where you think, I don't have the things that I think I'm meant to have. What does that say about me? How does that reflect on me? How do people see me? And I think I don't think that's good. I don't say that's good, but I don't think that's necessarily helpful to our mental states as human beings, because it really should be a day-to-day thing. And I do it, we all do it. We get ahead of ourselves, or we live in the past, or we get upset and stressed about things that we could have done, or we regret things. How many times have you done that? You do something with good intentions, or at least what you think is to be good intentions, and maybe you didn't actually think how that how it would affect other people. And you didn't mean to do that, but then it happens and you regret and you wake up. Like, I had something like that recently, which I won't get into. But you just have to learn from that kind of stuff. And I think it's the same from, looking at your life and then letting that define where you currently are. Because really, you could be 66 years old and still trying to figure it all out. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because I imagine on the way, you had some good times, you had some bad times, you had some ups and downs. You experienced all of this stuff. And I think the only things that are really going to knock you off your perch is if you stopped yourself doing something that you actually wanted to do. Then sure, that would tie into other things. But yeah, it's just a few things that people said to me this week about, what the main one was, somebody who just entered their 30s was like, I don't like the job that I'm doing and I don't know what I want to do. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, it may take you till you're 42, I'm just pulling out random numbers here, until you go, oh, I get it now. And if you then achieve that at 42, then that's awesome. Because there is no rules. There's no set pathway. Okay, if you want to be a football player and you're 30 years old, you're probably not going to be able to be a football player. But that's different because that ties into knees and cartilage and all those kind of things. But other than sort of physical sport, I think that, and this is the cheesiest thing I'll ever say, but it's true, I think that your journey is important regardless where you think you are, because it's your journey, you're a good person, you're a good human being, and you don't know where it's going to end. So I know it's a cliche thing to say that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, but you should enjoy that stuff, because you may even get to the point where you achieve that goal and you achieve the destination, and then you get there and you realize, oh man, it didn't give me what I hoped it would give me, and actually it was stuff that I already had that, I should have invested more time in, or I don't know, which is why you should just take everything you've got now and you should hold on to it and just see where it takes you. You got to be smart. You got to, because we all need money and pay bills and all that, because you got to do that. Yes, you have to have a certain level of responsibility, but don't beat yourself up just because maybe you're not currently in the life position you want to be. Because eventually you will get there, and then you may look back here and you may think it's wasted time. That's just one man's opinion. That's just a man musing for the 8th or 9th time. I'll wrap it up there. More of a sermon than usual, but hopefully it helped. As always, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below, share this with anyone that you think should share this. Go check out the playlist. You can watch loads of Miller Musings now. You can check out like 2 hours of me talking or something like that, which is ridiculous. Thank you as always for everybody's kind words. And yeah, I will see you next week. Take care.